Well, I think the key is that you focus on relationships, and we can't be naive to ignore the effect of NIL on many of those decisions. And so we want to recruit and develop young men that money isn't the number one priority. So it's incumbent upon us to know that in the recruiting process, because if money is your number one priority, then you're going to be enticed by money. You're going to leave. And so we want young men that want to come to FIU because they feel that this is the best program to develop them as a young man to accomplish all the goals that they have set for themselves. And so when they get into the program and they genuinely feel that, again, no amount of money is going to entice them because they know what they're a part of and it's special. And so I think that's the only way to combat the enticement or inducement of money is that it has to be genuine, authentic relationships built within this program with the coaching staff, the support staff, Panther Nation, and their teammates. And I feel confident that we'll be able to do that and we'll be able to retain our top players.
Wide receiver Eric Rivers just set a record for receiving yards in school. Keon Jenkins, a great quarterback here, or an accomplished quarterback, let's say. Have you specifically spoken to those young men?
I've had an opportunity to speak with those gentlemen. Look forward to continued dialogue with both of them and the other guys that are in the portal. And again, it's about painting a picture for them, showing them exactly what this program will look like. And there's been some great conversations so far. I look forward to continuing it with them, their parents, their coaches, because again, I understand where they are mentally. Some of those guys, this is their last season, and they've been a part of a program that has not had a winning record, and so they want to win, and they want to make sure that the person that's leading them has a pedigree of doing that, and that was important for them during the process. So Scott identified that, and I feel confident that we'll be able to retain the guys that give us the best chance to win. And I think those two guys, along with others, are going to be critical in our success.
Also, interim coaches aside, you're the first black head coach in FIU history. To me, a sign of significant progress in our society. What does it mean to you to be the first in that regard?
Well, obviously, it still shocks me that in 2024, about to be 25, that we're still saying that they're first African Americans, Latinos that are doing things, right? It shows you how much more work we have to do collectively as a nation to truly have equality. But I'm excited about the opportunity to lead. I've gotten a lot of calls from minority coaches, saying how proud they are that I got this opportunity. We all champion for each other because we know that these opportunities are limited. I think there's only 14 or 15 of us across America. And so when we get these opportunities, we got to make the most of them. But I'm excited to be not necessarily a trailblazer, but a champion for minority coaches because we can coach football as well as anybody. And I think more and more people are starting to understand that.
Well, one last thing, I'll let Kevin, guys, jump in. I think I read somewhere your mom was a math teacher. She's still teaching?
Unfortunately, she passed away.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm so sorry. I know your dad had passed away as well.
Yeah.
But the legacy of education is still in you, right? And you're sure you're instilling that in your kids.
No question. Again, my mom, first graduate, college graduate in our family. And that was something that Dr. Justin and I connected on immediately because he's the first in his family to go to college. And so she started a blazer trail for all of her siblings. And so all of my cousins, we all are college graduates because of that. And so the importance of education, specifically coming from grandparents who my grandfather dropped out of elementary school in the 3rd grade.
So after work.
And my grandmother dropped out in the 10th grade when she got pregnant with my mom. And so for us to now be generations of college graduates, it shows the value of education. My wife, same thing. She's a 4th generation college graduate. And so our kids know that education is non-negotiable, and our football team will understand the same thing.
And your mom graduated from where?
Florida A&M.
With a degree in?
In mathematics.
Awesome. Right, Kevin.
Yep.
All right, Coach, you were in this position in 2022. I believe you interviewed for the same job. Just what's changed? What have you learned from that time to now where this process is a little different and you're the guy with the job now?
Well, I mean, everything works on God's timing, so I didn't get sour after not getting the job the last time. Scott and I have kept in contact throughout the years, and I've pulled for FIU, and I think it's important that like we talk about the difference between success and excellence. We have to understand the difference between failure. Like that wasn't a failing moment for me. I learned a lot throughout that process, and I was able to make some memories that will last a lifetime during my last 2 years at Florida A&M. and then even this past year at Duke. So again, uh, I'm where I'm supposed to be at the time I'm supposed to be there, and that's one of that's one of the rules for our football team is to be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. So God had it in His plan to make sure that I'm the head football coach of FIU on December 7th, 2024, and I couldn't be more happy.
I don't know if you had a chance maybe to watch FIU last year at all. Just if you did, just kind of what stood out to you on both sides of the ball.
Well, obviously, they're a talented football team. You look at the games they played, they were very close in a lot of games. And so I'm not walking into a situation with a talentless football team. I think the guys have talent. I think they have a lot of pieces in place to be successful. Now it's just, again, our job to come in and continue to develop that, to develop the players that we currently have on our team, and to go out and recruit the young men that we need to continue to grow the profile of our football program and be ready to compete for championships. But, again, they wanted a winner because I think the guys in the locker room felt that they were right on the cusp of turning the tides, and I think they look forward to doing that moving forward.
You kind of mentioned it a little bit, but with the guys in the portal, just kind of what's the pitch you give them from what you can tell us to kind of come back here?
Well, one, I don't think in their heart of hearts that any of them want to leave FIU. I think they love it here. You build a bond with your brothers over the years of playing together and grinding together. So there's some things pulling at their heartstrings. And so, again, it's my job to one, remind them of that. But, like I said, lay out a plan for them that's concise to let them know what this program is going to look like next year, right? Because some of those guys, this is their last year. So they don't have time to wait until we build it 2 years down the road. They want to know that this is the best situation for them next season. And so, again, for me, it's about proving that to them, to their families, to anyone who they trust, and we've already started that process.
You're up at FAMU, obviously. Just talk a little bit about the recruiting side of things. Maybe recruited a little bit more up north, and maybe even touched a little bit of Georgia. Just are those some plans you have? Just maybe going up there a little more.
Well, our job is to find the best possible student athletes for this football team. Again, we know that there's a hotbed here, and so that's a luxury that we can start here, and that we can really be smart with our resources. Getting guys to campus, they don't have to drive far. Us getting into schools, we don't have to drive far. And so that's a luxury. You know, being at places like FAMU, some other places where you had to travel a little bit further to get to the talent, that was challenging at times, especially being a low-resource institution. And so we will start our recruitment right here. And we will get in our cars and we will drive to every school in this region to find great players, diamonds in the rough, you know, all of those type of players. So, again, can't promise that 100% of the roster will be within a 2-hour radius, but we can promise a commitment to making sure that there's no stone left unturned down here in the 305 and in the surrounding regions to find the best and brightest.
And last one for me, how much does that help, in terms of recruiting, having the state championship here at FIU?
Oh, it's amazing. I have the fortune, it's crazy how God works, of hosting the state championships the last 2 years. My last year at Florida A&M, obviously the state championships was hosted at FAMU, and obviously now they're hosted here at Pitbull Stadium. So just a chance to rub elbows with the high school coaches, to see some players, to just get a feel for what state championships are like here in this great state of Florida. It's an amazing feeling. So didn't plan it this way, but again, I take it every time. So looking forward to seeing a ton of great high school teams, high school players fill Pitbull Stadium this week.
Yeah, Coach, you had already talked about the importance of recruiting here in South Florida, but also talk a bit about recruiting nationwide, including some of your old spots such as Texas, of course with Prairie View, and North Carolina with Duke.
Well, again, I think it's important to understand that diversity is good. You never want one type of thing. I think successful organizations have diversity, and that may mean diversity of where they come from. But we want to recruit guys that want to be at FIU, that understand what this program is going to be about, that understand what this university can do for them. And I think a large group of those guys are right here, but there may be individuals, once we build this program the right way, in other regions of the country. And so Florida International University, right, we want to be a national program that student athletes in California, Texas, up north, the Midwest know about. And once they see what we're able to do, they may want to be a part of this program. And so the best player in the country is from Texas. I'm not going to turn him down because he's not from Miami, right? We're going to bring the best and the brightest here, and but the luxury is again that we can start our base right here, and I think we can fill our football team with enough good players from this region. But we're going to continue to recruit the best and brightest.
I understand it's only been 48 hours, like the president said, but what have you noticed from FIU football, facility-wise, this campus as well, that differentiates the most from what you've seen at the FCS level at Florida A&M and also at the P4 level with Duke?
Well, I think we have the resources to get it done, and so again, that's where it starts. When we get young men to campus, that we can show them a program that they can see themselves developing in. So the weight room, the locker room, the practice facility, the training room, the training table, all of those things, we have what we need here to be successful. And so obviously we're going to work hard to continue to provide more resources for them, but I think we can get enough people on campus to see the great things going on here at FIU that make them want to be a part of this program.